Tonight, we take pleasure in bringing you Suspense, a weekly anthology of notable melodramas from stage and screen, fiction and radio, presented each week to bring you to the edge of your chair, to keep you in suspense.
Ship's log, Unified Earth Exploration Vessel Pythias, March 12, 2047. Colonel Luke Malloy recording. While cataloging planet X-243, total engine failure forced us to set down on this newly discovered world. I've called a crew meeting to discuss our options. As you were, everyone. All right, let's get the biggest question settled first. Captain Kruger, what's the engine status?
Catastrophic core failure due to a rupture in the positron conduit. Conduit tested well within specs when we were at Station Epsilon 6 months ago. Must have been an atomic-level microfracture, extremely rare. But there are cases of it.
Possibilities of repair?
Zero. It can't be done outside of a fleet repair facility. The way the Pythias is designed, the only way to get the engine core is to partially disassemble the ship. And all the work has to be done in a clean environment, which, listening to the wind howl, we are most definitely not in.
So there's no chance of building a temporary superstructure that would allow repairs?
No. We can build one, but it'd be impossible to make it sterile. And if even 1 milligram of particulate matter enters the stream, well, right now, I can at least keep essential systems going indefinitely. But if we try and fail, and we will certainly fail, we'll lose all power for good.
Understood. So repair is not an option. Lieutenant O'Grady, what about communications? Did our distress signal go out?
Uncertain, sir. We were on the dark side of X-243 when we experienced core failure, so our signal may have been at least partially blocked.
Is there any chance of getting a second SOS out now?
Not a chance in hell. Lieutenant Ivanova can tell you better than I can, but the atmospherics are dreadful. It's thick as pea soup out there.
What about scavenging the ship to build a beacon on a high peak somewhere?
Not sure, sir.
Colonel, the atmosphere is extremely thick. A beacon would have to be placed at a minimum height of 10 kilometers to have even a remote chance of success.
And the nearest peak of that height is 800 clicks away.
So that's out as an option as well. Lieutenant Ivanova, what about the atmospheric conditions?
Chlorine-based, dense and highly toxic. Exposure to atmosphere will cause death within 60 seconds. Daytime temperatures are tolerable, averaging 10 below 0 Celsius. But the constant winds make heavy environmental suits essential.
Understood. Lieutenant Townsend, what does the geological survey tell you?
Well, X-243 is a treasure trove of radioactive elements, including radium, plutonium, and uranium-239. There's also a small number of naturally occurring transuranics, which is it's highly unusual. So if a rescue mission doesn't come for us, it's going to be to their loss.
Well, not just theirs. It looks like the only reasonable course of action is to hunker down and wait for a rescue mission. Even if our SOS signal was partially blocked by the bulk of X-243, there are automated receiver stations all through explored space. The odds are good that at least one of them will pick up our call. Major Chang, what's our supply status?
We have enough food and water for 90 days at regular rations. The typical rescue mission takes 45 days. Though if our distress signal had to route through a receiver station, it could take several weeks longer.
If it went through at all.
Well, we have to assume that our signal did in fact go through. If we were working under any other premise, we might just as well open the airlock and end it all now, right? That said, we can't count on that rescue mission arriving right at the 45-day mark. So we need to plan for the long haul. Starting immediately, we'll be alternating days at full rations and days at half rations. If the rescue mission hasn't arrived after the 45 days, we go to half rations daily. Not the most pleasant of experiences, I admit, but it'll buy us over 2 extra months. And that should be more than enough time. Any questions? No? We'll get through this together. And the courage we show in doing so will be a testament to what makes us human. Dismissed. Ship's log, April 30th, 2047. Colonel Luke Malloy recording. It's been 7 weeks since we were marooned on planet X-243. Still no sign of rescue as of yet. At a rational level, the crew knows that it's still too early to expect one, yet they're still nervous. So I've been trying to keep them occupied with increasing the efficiency of ship's systems. Today, Lieutenant O'Grady and Lieutenant Ivanova are going to go outside and try to boost the signal on the communications array. A long shot, but worth a shot, even if only for purposes of morale. Radio check.
O'Grady, over.
Ivanova, over.
Coming through loud and clear. Proceed. We'll keep the channel open.
Roger that. Tethering to airlock door. Proceeding to communications array.
Wind speed is rising, but within reasonable limits.
Just be careful out there.
Will do, Colonel. Approaching communications array now.
Wind increasing to 50 kilometers per hour. Visibility decreasing.
Maybe we should bring them back in, Colonel.
No point, Major. Winds are seldom below 40 kilometers per hour anyway. And we're tethered. We will be fine.
Ivanova, can you stand right here? I need you to block the wind as much as possible while I work on this.
How's it look, O'Grady?
Well, maybe if I narrow down the bandwidth to the emergency channel only, but even then we'd have to push the power well past the red line. Chances are we'll fry the entire communications array in the process.
Still worth a shot, though, right?
Yeah. Not like we can make it any worse. All we're getting now is static anyway.
Then do it.
Wind speed increasing to 60 kilometers per hour. Visibility near zero.
You two okay out there?
Right as rain, Colonel. This is going to take a while. Ivanova, hand me the sonic spanner, will you?
Wind speed continuing to climb, now 65 kilometers per hour.
That's not helping, Ivanova.
Sensors indicate a rapid drop in atmospheric pressure.
Storm front. The weather here is highly unpredictable.
Look, could you all keep it down? This would be hard enough to do in dry dock.
Wind speed 75 kilometers an hour and climbing.
Latest computer models indicate a massive storm within the next 5 minutes. Wind speeds in excess of 170 kilometers per hour.
Colonel, we should abort.
Agreed. O'Grady, Ivanova, get back in on the double.
I can't stop now. If I leave it like this, we'll never communicate with anyone else ever again.
Wind speed 95 kilometers per hour and rising.
Just seal the access panel and get back in.
The circuits are exposed now. I've got to finish it.
Wind speed 105 kilometers per hour and rising.
That's an order, O'Grady.
Stormfront estimated just 2 minutes out.
Wind speed 120 kilometers an hour and rising.
All of you, shut up!
Wind speed 1...
Ivanova!
Her faceplate smashed!
Get her inside, now! Resuscitator. O'Grady, what happened?
I don't know, sir. I think the spanner got caught up by the wind and smashed her in the faceplate.
No vital signs.
Ship's log, May 1st, 2047. Colonel Luke Malloy recording. The sudden death of Lieutenant Ivanova has hit the crew hard. Captain Kruger in particular, even though he played no part in the accident. However, despite the fact that we're 50 light years from Earth, I fully intend to keep to military protocol. Therefore, I've convened a formal hearing this morning in order to put on record the events that led to the lieutenant's accident, if that is, in fact, what it was. We now convene this hearing into the death of Lieutenant Diana Ivanova, ship's Earth Sciences officer, Unified Earth Exploration Vessel Pythias. Lieutenant, please state your name and rank for the record.
Gavin O'Grady, Lieutenant, Communications Officer, Unified Earth Exploration Vessel Pythias.
Lieutenant O'Grady, can you give us your description of the events which took place yesterday at approximately 4:22 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time?
Lieutenant Ivanova and I were outside working on the communications array when a sudden storm came up. I was rushing, trying to finish. I set down my sonic spanner and it must have gotten caught by the wind.
Lieutenant Townsend, what was the wind speed at the time?
122 kilometers per hour, sir.
Thank you. Please continue, Lieutenant O'Grady.
Anyway, the wind flung it against Lieutenant Ivanova's faceplate, smashing it. I tried to get her inside as fast as I could, but it wasn't fast enough. The atmosphere's poisonous, and she must have breathed some of it in. She was good as dead before I could get her in the airlock.
Captain Kruger, what does a sonic spanner weigh?
About 1 kilo.
And a wind speed of 122 kilometers per hour translates to about how many meters per second?
About 34 meters per second.
Correct. I did the calculations myself earlier. A 1 kilo mass traveling at that speed would generate about 423 foot-pounds of force. Would that be sufficient to break the faceplate on an environmental suit helmet?
No, sir. Not even close.
What? Then it must have been a wind gust, or maybe just the very edge hit her faceplate.
Maybe, but it's all a moot point thanks to something that Major Chang noted earlier. Major?
Lieutenant O'Grady, where was Lieutenant Ivanova standing?
I don't remember.
Then allow me to refresh your memory. Over the radio, you instructed Lieutenant Ivanova to block the wind for you, and just a few moments later, you asked her to hand you a sonic spanner, a task she could only have performed if she was facing you. So I ask you, Lieutenant, how could the wind have blown a spanner into her face when the wind was at her back?
What does it matter anyway? We're all as good as dead.
You killed her, didn't you?
She got off easy. 60 seconds and it was all over for her. But for us, there's no chance that SOS got picked up. I should know better than anyone. We'd starve to death waiting for a ship that'll never come. And you, Colonel, filling everyone full of false hope.
O'Grady, that'll be all.
Or else what? You'll execute me? Don't you get it? We're all dead men. So go ahead, shoot me.
Since you've willingly admitted to your own guilt, a formal court-martial proceeding would be a waste of time. Lieutenant Gavin O'Grady, I find you guilty of premeditated murder. You're hereby stripped of rank and sentenced to death. Officers of the Pythias, what say you?
I concur, Colonel. Guilty.
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 And since it could be an indeterminate amount of time before sentence is carried out upon Mr. O'Grady by a military executioner, we'll execute sentence ourselves. Immediately. By firing squad.
Colonel, I agree with the verdict, but...
Major Chang, we're in a life-and-death situation here. Clearly, he can't be trusted among us. There isn't a section of the ship we could isolate him where he couldn't conceivably do more harm. And most of all, every drop of water and gram of food he consumes puts us that much closer to starvation ourselves. No, Major, this ends now. Suit up and break out rifles from the arms locker. Ship's log, May 10th, 2047. Colonel Luke Malloy recording. As tragic as the death of Lieutenant Ivanova was, what we awakened to on this day was even worse. Captain Kruger was gone. Since the murder of Lieutenant Ivanova and the execution of Lieutenant O'Grady, Kruger had become increasingly isolated. But it was only when Major Chang read the note he left that we fully understood.
I blame myself for the engine failure, and for all that has followed. I already have the deaths of Ivanova and O'Grady on my head, and the thought that my remaining shipmates face starvation is more than I can bear. So I have left the ship, and will be long dead by the time you read this. I can only hope that this action may allow your supplies to last a little longer, perhaps even long enough for a rescue mission to arrive. May God forgive me, Captain Wilfred Kruger, Engineering Officer, Unified Earth Exploration Vessel Pythias.
Poor bastard. It wasn't his fault. None of it.
But in his mind, it was. And nothing we could have said or done would have changed that.
We should go out and bury him, next to Ivanova.
And we will, with full honors. But first, there's something I want to discuss with you both. It's a decision that I can't make unilaterally. It has to be all or nothing.
Of course, Colonel.
The sacrifice made by Captain Kruger bought us nearly 2 extra weeks, and that might make all the difference. But it also gave me food for thought. Right now, we have enough supplies at half rations to last us 90 days. But in order to maximize the chances for at least one of us to last until a rescue mission can reach X-243, 30 days from now, I'm going to step out that airlock.
What?
By doing so, you both gain an extra 30 days. And if a mission hasn't arrived by then, well, you two should draw straws. At least one of us will still be here 5 months from now. And if a rescue ship hasn't come by then, it won't be coming at all. Well?
Okay. But on one condition. 30 days from now, we all draw straws.
No deal. My idea, so I go first, regardless.
Then I'll vote against it entirely. What do you say, Major?
No. It's looking less and less likely that any sort of rescue is on the way. So if we are to die, let us die like men, like comrades, together, not like animals.
But we won't be dying like animals. On the contrary, we'll be sacrificing for our fellows, and that, Major, is a testament to our humanity.
That may be, but I fear that I could no more live with myself, knowing that one of you had committed suicide to let me live just a little bit longer than Kruger could. And you may find too late that you feel the same.
So be it. Then I guess I have no choice. Lieutenant, I agree to your terms.
In which case, Colonel, the answer's yes.
2-1, Major.
Very well. I will make it unanimous.
Thank you, Major, and believe me, I'm in no hurry to step out that door. None of us are. It's an option of last resort, nothing more. I pray that none of us will have to do it. Now, let's go see to our friend. Ship's log. June 9th, 2047. Colonel Luke Malloy recording. It has been 30 days since Major Chang, Lieutenant Townsend, and myself made our pact. No rescue ship has, as of yet, arrived. And so, the moment I have dreaded is here. Before we do this, I want to once again offer to go first. It was my idea.
Forget it, Colonel. We all agreed.
Major?
I will see it through, but I am more certain than ever that nothing good will come of this.
Except perhaps hope, Major.
We shall see.
In my hand, I hold 3 straws. 2 long, 1 short. Who wants to go first?
I will.
Long. Lieutenant, good luck. Look, Townsend, you don't have to do this. I'll go.
No. No.
Malcolm.
Colonel, you said it yourself. Sacrificing for one's fellows is a testament to our humanity.
I know, but...
Am I any less human than you?
No. No, of course not.
So there you have it. My choice. Please, respect that.
Wait. In case it gets too bad.
Thank you, Colonel. Goodbye, Colonel Malloy. Goodbye, Major Chang.
Ship's log, June 13th, 2047. Colonel Luke Malloy recording. Major Chang and I have barely said a word since Lieutenant Townsend left the ship. That was, however, about to change, albeit very briefly.
Colonel, why don't we just end this now?
What are you saying?
In your opinion, the single most important task remaining to us is to ensure that one of us survives long enough to be rescued, correct?
So that those who gave their lives to help us get this far did not give those lives in vain, yes.
Then the logical course of action is for us to not wait another 26 days to draw straws again. If we do it now, the one who remains will have 52 days.
You sure you want to do that, Hongwei?
I am. Short straw goes out the airlock.
Okay.
I have the short straw.
No, you just broke that off. That wasn't the short straw.
I said short straw goes out the airlock. You agreed. Well, I have the short straw.
But yeah. But why?
Because every time I close my eyes, I see Townsend walking out that airlock, in agony as the atmosphere seared his lungs, finally blowing his brains out. And also we could go on with the charade for a few extra days. Colonel, if that's the price for survival, then it's too high a price.
Personal log, July 7th, 2047. Colonel Luke Malloy recording. This will be my last entry. Just 2 hours after Major Chang exited the Pythias, the long-expected rescue ship arrived. But my own rescue is only now at hand.
It's time. Luke Malloy, you have been court-martialed and sentenced to death by firing squad. Do you have any last words?
I meant for it to be a testament to our humanity. But that's not what it became.
Ready? Aim. Fire!
and for it to be a testament to our humanity.
So ends Testament by John C. Elzadek and Dana Perry Hayes. Tonight's story of Suspense. Suspense is produced by Blue Hours Productions and recorded at Melrose Music in Hollywood, California. Tonight's radio drama was written especially for Suspense by John C. Elzadek and Dana Perry Hayes. Vic Minonia was Colonel Luke Malloy. Charles Rahi Chun was Major Chang. Darren Jacobs was Lieutenant Townsend. Michael Tay was Lieutenant O'Grady. Jonathan Goldstein was Captain Kruger, and Dana Perry Hayes was Lieutenant Ivanova. I'm Damon Krall. Join us again next week for another study in suspense.